What is up, YouTube? That's here today. I'm back doing more Pokemon VGC 2023 Regulation E team fixing. That's right, we're opening up a team fixing submission for this month and next month. That's all up on Patreon. If you guys want your teams fixed, taken a look at, and featured in a video just like this one, think about checking out the link in the description to the Patreon and submit your own teams. This very first team we're going to be taking a look at is an Enamorous team that uses Contrary with, like, side parting shot, light screen, fake tears grim. Really cool stuff. I really like how creative this team is. And if we actually check out the team submission post right here, we can see a little bit more of how the team is supposed to be played. This is the very first team that was submitted, so we're going to be taking a look at this one first. It's a Regulation E VGC team, but I will also say we're going to be fixing 3v3 singles and 6v6 OU teams if you guys want to submit those as well. But basically, like they said, it revolves around a Superpower, Contrary, Enamorous, and other Pokemon that support it. It's a really cool team. I really like how in-depth they said a lot of like their lead options and their flowcharts are. I think that's so smart. One thing they said, they use Haze to counter the Dondozo teams, and they say their biggest problem is like Lilycole, Defiant Bulk Up, Annihilate, and then like Neutralizing Gas Wheezing, so it would be best if those could be figured out. So I really like that they made a team, they had a goal, they talked about what they did right, and then they also talked about what they think they could do a little bit better. So that's like the perfect team to take a look at in a team building session like this. So one thing to note is that a lot of these EV spreads need work. You can see they're wasting points here. You'd want that to go to 140, you'd want that to go to 108. You're leaving at least 8 points on the table here. You're leaving 4 points on the table here. You can also optimize a 2v2 spread. You're leaving, you're wasting points right there. Obviously we can just clean these EV spreads up a lot. I think that's also wasting points right there. So we're going to clean up these EV spreads. We're going to clean up a bunch of these Terras, and hopefully they can get a better understanding for how this team works. As for how we're going to be able to check that weakness to like Lilycole, as how we're going to check that weakness to Wheezing, I think we're going to have some good options. That's probably going to have to do a lot with Hisui Arcanine, like taking the brunt of that. But hopefully we get some big wins. This rental code is right here if anyone does want to try the team. But yeah, I'm excited to try this one. I think this team has a lot of really cool stuff going for it. Enamorous is a Pokemon that definitely deserves more play. So yeah, we're just going to hop into these games. Wish me luck. Here we go. All right, this first game's going to be going up against Torn, wait, where's the Urshi? There's Urshi up there. So Torn, Urshi, Flutter, Mungus, Arc, Fire Pond. Like, it doesn't get much more standard than that. I think it's kind of lame that like every single team that you're ever going to fight in a tournament or ladder looks like varying degrees of that, but it is what it is. Whenever we see that dynamic speed control, we either need to match it or deal with its teammates and basically mitigate what that speed control itself is bringing to the table. So that being said, we are going to be in a good spot going Enamorous here. I think we're going to have to go Enamorous. And then thinking about that, if we can get the Arcanine off the board and maybe even the Fire Pond, we can safely Terrastalize to be able to block the damage from the Flutter. So that's an option. So I think that like Enamorous is a good Mon here so far. Do we want to set, do we even have Tailwind on this Moltres? We don't even have Tailwind. So yeah, we can't even get up Tailwind. So that's a big no-no. We have absolutely zero speed control with this team. I think we have to lead Grim because it has Fake Out. And I do not recommend like Fake Out Grim in these formats just because like even if you were to like trick them once with like a Fake Out Grim, I don't think that necessarily makes you like a better player in the long run. That's just my personal opinion on it. I think we're also going to be able to need to bring this Arcanine. You don't really want to bring Shimpow into a Mungus because we have Ice Spinner Shimpow, which would just get redirected and lose its Sash from a potential Rocky Helmet. So I don't really want to deal with that. Arcanine's going to be a little bit better. As for the Shimpow and the team building part, we definitely want to probably add an Icicle Crash from using a Sash set. But yeah, we have no speed control in this team. We have limited forms of redirection. We have screens, but yeah, back to that Fake Out thing. Yeah, you might be able to trick like one person with like Fake Out Grim, and that might be good, but I don't think that's the type of like playstyle you should be trying to cultivate with like a immediate like only trick. Like you're all in on that Fake Out, and if like they Ghost Terror, they do something weird, or even if they fall for it, I don't necessarily think that makes you better. I think that makes you lucky that you're fighting players that aren't respecting every option. So Torn Urshi here, I think that our best play is going to have to be to Fake Out that Urshi, and then like what? Play rough the Urshi? Like, Superpower is cool, but like if we don't get this Urshi off the board right now, it's just going to crit us through all these boosts. So yeah, we're just going to go straight play rough. We have some significant attack investment on this Enamorous, 144, which is wasting 4 points, but it's okay. Yeah, we're just going to go for this. And then we're probably going to side parting shot and do a bunch of other stuff like that. So hopefully we get this guy off the board. Hopefully they don't Water Terra us this first turn. And if they do, which they are, we're going to be in for a not so great time most likely. Because again, we have zero forms of speed control. I think it's this team's biggest fault. It has no speed control. We kind of just wait to lose in every single game. And mons like Urshi that are incredibly oppressive, mons like Flutter that are incredibly oppressive, just give us a really, really bad time. So that being said, there's the Tailwind. We're allowing that Tailwind to go off. If we can get this Urshi off the board without losing too many resources, there are situations in which we can have value, but note that our Grim doesn't even have, like, play rough. So, like, this is just the roughest thing the world's ever seen. I think we die. I think our best play here is to bait them into attacking the Enamor. So I'm going to hard switch in my Rocky Helmet Mon. And I'm thinking I don't want to Parting Shot. I'm just going to light screen this first turn because I do think that there's a good chance that, like, they have that Flutter in the back. I think there's a good chance that Torrent is going to go for a special attack. I don't want to Parting Shot and bring an Arcanine and have that Arcanine just get melted by the Torn. Or sorry, by like an Urshi attack or something like that. So I'm just going to go for the light screen. If you want to attack the Grim, that's fine. If you want to take the bait and go into this Namorous, which you should be respecting, be my guest. And if they do KO like anything, if they do KO Grim this turn for some reason, we just bring an Arcanine and go E-Speed in that Urshi. Again, getting this Urshi off the board is going to be the key to, you know, hopefully having a good matchup here. They're going to have a Bleak Wind. I mean, what do you want me to do, right? What would you have me do in this situation? So we come in here, speed drop, never lucky. It's completely fine. That light screen made it so they weren't able to just absolutely melt our, what is it, our Sinistcha there. So Sinistcha is still going to get 3 ticks of the Rocky Helmet, which I think is going to be able to take this guy out. It'd be nice to not lose the Sinistcha here, so we can go for like 1 Rage Powder or maybe like 1 swap out. Never lucky. But it's okay. Hopefully they go down, right? If they don't go down, we have to bring an Arcanine. I'm not really a fan of Arcanine here. But let's see if this takes it out. Survey says yes. Thank goodness. Good thing is we're wasting their Tailwind turns. They use their Terra. And, like, we're able to mitigate this. But do you see how, like, hard this is? Do you like, see how hard this is? It's not easy out here. And then we could send out Arcanine. I think I'm going to send out the Enamorous and go for, like, fake tier strats now. Because now that their Terra's gone, their ability to, like, dictate a lot of play should be gone. And if they want to send out their Arcanine here, they're going to give us a free Contrary boost. Oh, it's almost like I played the game. Cool. So that guy's going to be on the board. I think this is fine, right? I'm going to Steel Terra here, I think. I think I will Steel Terra. I don't think they're going to Flare Blitz me. I think they're going to Rock Slide. So I'm going to go probably, like, I'm going to go Steel Terra. I'm going to Superpower. And what I'm going to do is actually, like, side Parting Shot my own Enamorous. It's going to give me a Contrary boost, kind of. I guess, like, that wouldn't even be really valuable, would it? Let me think about this. Because, like, I want to then bring in my Arcanine and get an Intimidate. Yeah, right now I'm at +1. Yeah, I'll do it. This will be fine. Yeah, so we go Steel Terra, we go Superpower into the Arcanine, and then we side Parting Shot, and then bring in our Arcanine, get an Intimidate, and do everything that we want to do. It'd be better than going into them. Alright, here we go. Here we go. And we don't need to use Fake Tears yet, just because we've only really seen physical attackers other than the Torn. So hopefully they're not going for Flare Blitz. I mean, they might not want to miss, but I think this is a juicy Rock Slide. Again, if we had like a Thunder Wave here, or like a Scary Face, you know I'd be clicking that button instead, but we just don't, right? So we get an attack boost off that, a special attack boost. Remember, Contrary is different than like Defiant. Defiant, you still get the stat drops, and then you get like a +2. Contrary just reverses it, so I just get the stat boosts. So it's really, really nice. So right now I'm at +1 with the Enamorous, and then the Superpower is going to come in. I'm going to get a +1 attack and defense boost there too, and the Intimidate here. So we're doing our absolute best. Bleak Wind, okay. Bleak Wind misses on, I think that's Enamorous. And double miss Bleak Wind, yeah, we take this all the way to the bank. Arcanine goes for the Rock Slide. It was too juicy. It was just far too juicy. They get another miss. Yeah, we're taking these all the way to the bank. We're taking these all the way to the bank. Shoutouts to RNG. And then this Arcanine goes down, and we get a second attack boost. And we get a defense boost on top of it. And then the Rage Quit. Yo, it's almost like they had literally every chance in the world to win that game. And they just didn't. And so, yeah, we won with like Grim and Enamorous, and we've been the Arcanine and the Sinistcha, but like, holy moly, it's so hard without some speed control. So my recommendations after just playing one game with this team is you gotta add like some form of speed control. You gotta add like a Thunder Wave or a Scary Face or a Tailwind over here. I think Tailwind on Moltres is actually a really, really good idea. And you can go like Grim Moltres. If you want to keep your fake, you can go like fake out Tailwind into like a nasty plot slash like parting shot in your Arcanine or something. That could be a really, really good play moving forward. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And we're going to go into another game. So let's go into it. But yeah, I think like realistically, the Enamorus was great. Grimmsnarl was great. I think if we had Tailwind and Moltres, that could be very, very nice as well. We'll get another opponent right here, and here we go. Their team is... Oh, is that Zora? This team, I think, was featured by Pokesports. That Zora's bait. It's bait. Like, you could use Zora, you could use Zork. They're actually all good Pokemon. We're on ranked. We're in Master Ball. Zora is better than it looks. But I'm not. I'm the Zork master. I got Zork plush right here. Like, we're ready, willing, and able to take out anything a Zork could bring to the table. That being said, I think that because we see that dynamic speed control again, we need to play this incredibly, incredibly reactive. And so something like, what is it? Sorry, something like Enamorus can be a good lead again. They have a lot more screens, and they have a lot more special attackers, so like Grimm is still a really good lead. I think that we brought the same ones. Again, I don't really think Shempout into like Mons that can defensively break our sash, like Spiky Shield, Ogerpon. I don't really like Shempout in those matchups. And, you know, I don't know if you want to even keep the Shempout. I feel like Shempout's a good Mon here, but like, we already have so many fairy weaknesses that, like, I don't see a reason to bring, like, Shempout or Moltres. They basically are, like, the same sort of, like, weak to rock and fairy Mon that I'm just like, ugh. It's like, and I just choose to bring neither, you know what I mean? I think that Arcanine's good. I think Sinistchal's good. I'm not really vibing with the Shenpao and the Moltres on this team. So we see Fire Upon Shenpao. They're trying to deal massive amounts of damage. This is where, again, that fake out Grimm, it's going to work in this close team sheet situation, probably. I can actually just get that Shenpao off the board on this first turn, I think. Because, like, what are they going to do? Hopefully it's not, like, Swords Dance Fire Upon, but, like, you know, I think we're going to be able to literally just click, like, Super Power into that slot. Fake Tears into it. Sorry, fake out Super Power, get a defense boost, and just be in a good spot. I swear, if they're, like, Ghost Tearing me, I'll be so sad. But I do think that... they're just going to go Fire Upon. I wonder if they're trying to just break the Enamorus, who has defense investment. We have 100... Well, we're wasting 4 points. We have 112 points. Normally 108 or 116 would be the right number, so we're wasting 4 points there. But we're going to be able to be a bully here. So let's see. A survey says maybe they're going after Grimm. Doesn't matter to me if they go after Grimm. Don't die. There's a Shenpao on the board, but don't die. And that's probably just game. Right? I mean, what would you have me do in this situation? What are we going to do? Steel Terra? I mean, I guess we could have figured out that thing, but then we just would have went down to the Ice Spinner. And so, we're in a really, really bad spot here. We do have the Arcanine. We note that we didn't waste our Terra there. I think it's really smart that we just didn't Terra. Our Arcanine has Fairy Terra, if we would like to use it. We can break the Shenpao here. We can... This is where Speed Control would also be kind of nice, because I think our Arcanine is going to be heavily outsped by that Ogerpon. So, yeah, Rock Slide's good. I'm gonna Terra, I'm gonna Rock Slide because I want to be able to block a Sacred Sword, right? So Rock Slide's gonna be happening here, and yeah, I think our best shot is just to. It sounds really bad, but I don't even think a Parting Shot would help us. I'm going to Light Screen, and that seems really weird, but we actually need this Light Screen to go off, and I want to be able to actually let Grimm stay on the board to soak damage, and then when Arcanine takes some recoil, or sorry, not recoil, but some damage itself, we're going to be able to, next turn, Parting Shot, bring in the Sinistcha. I think it's going to be a much better play. This also let us reset our Fake Out next turn. Most likely, because we lost our Enamorus on the first turn, we will probably lose this game. So that being said, let's see what they're going to go for here. Light Screen is not good, but you remember, the rest of their mons are all special attackers, so we kind of have to play into this. There's the Ice Spinner into the Grimm. You know, Grimm, like I said, soaking damage. What would happen if I just swapped out or Parting Shotted into the Ogerpon? I would have brought in my Sinistcha and just lost it. They go for a Brick Break. That breaks my screen, yes, but that's fine. As long as I hit this Rock Slide, let's go. Big damage. Oh my gosh, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Hey, the scores are evened up. Yes, the Light Screen's gone, but I can just reapply it. We are locked into Rock Slide here on Arcanine. But I think that's okay. I think that's okay. We can also, like, swap out Arcanine Parting Shot and come out and get an Intimidate plus the Parting Shot. Let's see if they have Melodic here. Don't want to see Melodic, but Sylveon, good mon. Don't need to Intimidate that. And Zora. Ha! they sent them out in the wrong order. If they would have sent out Zora in the first slot where the Sylveon was, they could have also then sent out Sylveon in the second slot, and it would have said like 2 Sylveons. But in that situation, you always want to target down the one that was sent out first because that one's Zora. All this being said, I don't actually know what the Zora set is. I think Pokesports featured it, but I don't actually know what it is. So what I'm going to actually just do here is I'm going to pivot in. I'm going to hard switch out this for Sinistcha, actually, and restore some health on my Grim. And then I'm just going to reset the light screen. And I think that's probably a very passive way to do this. I don't know if it's like counter Sash. And I don't want to just click Rock Slide with my Mon that only has... Only Arcanine can deal damage. If I had like Spirit Break, I would click Spirit Break and Rock Slide into the Zora and I'd be fine. But I don't know if it's a counter set on that thing. I don't even know if that Zora even gets counter. I'm just trying my best to play around everything right now. So, light screen's going to go up. And survey says Shadow Sneak. Yeah, I don't care about that. I would have liked them to hit the Sinistcha. That could have broken a Sash. Hyper Voice is absolutely fine. Grim actually holds, which is amazing. That's just great. So that being said, I could Life Dew here. I could Matcha Gotcha here. I think I can Matcha Gotcha next turn. I think what I'm going to do is click the Life Dew. And we're faster than them. I think we're faster than the Zora. I don't actually know, but I'll try the Parting Shot. Worst case scenario, I bring a Arcanine for free. I'd like to get this Parting Shot off into Sylveon, be able to re-bring out and get a Fake Out. Nice. Cool. So we're going to do that. Sylveon's going to get a little bit weaker. We're going to come in with Arcanine here. We have a light screen up. And, yeah, I think we're in an okay spot. And then next turn, I'll click Matcha Gotcha Rock Slide. Here we go. Intimidate, not really that important. Let's see what the Zora's doing. Survey says it did Shadow Sneak again. This time it goes into the Matcha Gotchamon. That's absolutely fine. That's going to be a Rocky Helmet Sash Break, if that thing even was Sash, which I'm assuming it is Sash over Eviolite. Life 2 comes in. We're faster than Sylveon with the Matcha Gotcha. And, yeah, we're just chilling here. The only thing that would be really bad here is, like, crit Hyper Voice from a -1 Sylveon. So you know that's what happens. Never lucky, bro. Holy moly. At this point now, though, we can actually just click, we can just continue to click Life Dew, I think. I don't want to miss a Rock Slide. I'm trying to think if there's any way that we lose here. I don't really need a Flare Blitz. I think that we can actually just Terra Blast everything out. Yeah, we're fine. Shadow Sneak's good. I'm just going to get the Zora off the board. I probably shouldn't be this proactive at getting the Zora off the board, but I just will. Just two turns like this, as long as I don't get crit 2 turns in a row from the -1 Sylveon. Remember, they're still at -1. They should be doing about 30 HP right now. Through the light screen, through the -1. It's ridiculous that they did that much. We'll get another Life Dew off. And I think Life Dew is still, like, so nice. It's just so good. Oh, man. I love using Life Dew when I play Sinistcha as well. Here we go. Arcanine. Get that big health back. Any more crits? No. That didn't do anything, right? So we can just chill here. Life Dew for days. Go for an absolutely massive banded Fairy Terra Blast in this Sylveon. And we're probably going to be able to take this, but you see how hard it is. Like, we have to really, really outplay these people because we don't have the ability to, like, rely on speed control to, like, enable our Arcanine, to enable our Enamorus to, like, roll these guys over. So I think, like, maybe adding, like, an offensive attack on the Grim or some speed control on the Grim, that might be something that we could do to give ourselves a little bit more of, like, a fighting chance. I also think, like, adding Tailwind on the Moltres could be a very, very good play as well. I don't want to change the team up too much. I just want to fix the sets that we have. So that being said, we're going to get the win here. And, yeah, pretty good game. I mean, we're closing these things out correctly. So I do think that we've shown most of what this team does. I'm still not really vibing with the Shenpao, but I'm going to play one more game. I'm trying to even think of a situation in which I would bring Shenpao. What's Shenpao good against? Psy Spam? You know, we talked, there's a lot of holes in the team. It has a weakness to Wheezing. It has a weakness to Psy Spam, I think. That was one of them. It had a weakness to, let's see. Shenpao has Haze, which I know that you like to use against Dozo. Let me go back over here and see, like, the team is weak against, like, Torkoal and Lilligant. It's weak against, like, Bulk Up Annihilate. And it's weak against Wheezing. So, like, we could actually take the Shenpao, because it's actually actively not helping, in my opinion, for, like, another Mon that would be able to solve a lot more of those matchups. And I think I know just the Mon. So we're going to go into one more game before we get into the little team building section. But that being said, you know, if we clean up a lot of these EVs, it's actually going to clean up, like, a lot of our team's problems. So that being said, I think we're going to be in a good spot. So let's go look at this game right here. And, you know, we see Torkoal, but we don't see the Lilligant. So let's see. I really like that team. I wonder if it's going to be Scarf Chi-Yu. This is going to be big Scarf Chi-Yu vibes. It could also just be like Chi-Yu and Bundle. And we don't have the speed control, so we have to respect those things correctly. The good thing for us is a lot of their damage that we're scared of is on the special side. Things like the Chi-Yu, things like the Torkoal, things like the Bundle. And again, if we take out the Urshifu, we should be able to be fine on the physical side. So that being said, I do think that Enamorus is a really good mon here. I do like Grim, but Grim is so much harder to use versus Indeedee. I think we might have a better shot at just leading Arcanine here. And, yeah, these two are still good. And then I'm trying to, like, think of a situation, like, because we don't have Tailwind on here, I don't ever see a reason to use Moltres. Grim is, like I said, it's really hard to use here. I don't think we can bring Grim here. I think we need to bring the Hospitality Mon. And then, like, maybe Shimpao? Maybe we lead Shimpao and just break the terrain. No, I think that we can just bring Shimpao here, but, like, I'm not a fan of it. And we're gonna see that Shimpao, I don't think, can pull its weight in this matchup. But, you know, I still should be trying to use all of the Pokemon that are submitted when people submit their teams for team fixing like this. I want to get a really, really good understanding of, like, the headspace that the people that submit these teams have. So I gotta try my best to use everything that they said. That's exactly that we said that they're probably gonna lead. Potentially Scarf Chi-Yu. Really, really have to respect it. Do you see how hard this is? This is, like, really hard. I think what I'm actually gonna do is just protect. One of the reasons why you want to lead the Enamorus next to the Arcanine here is because this disincentivizes Snarl and, like, Icy Winds because they don't want to give us the boost. They don't know if we're physical or special. That being said, I'm just going to go protect here. We don't need to be cute, and I'm actually just going to Terastallize, and this will let us block the most of the damage from Hydro Pump, if they even hit it. And then they should be throwing something at our Enamorus. I think that they're probably going to freeze dry the Enamorus, and they could double into the Arcanine still, but then would they ignore the Enamorus? I don't think that they would, right? I really don't think that they would. And one freeze dry here will KO us. Our Enamorus has 0 investment in Spadef. That's a Chi-Yu enabled bundle. We would die if they freeze dried us. So we have to try and get at least one of those guys off the board. Looks like we're the first ones Terastallizing here. And we're not going to know if it's Scarf Chi-Yu ever, because this team has, like, no forms of speed control. I'd actually like to see if they take Life Orb damage, right? So we can actually know, like, it's not Scarfed or not Sashed or something. So let's see. Hydro Pump does hit. Never lucky, right? What are you going to do? It's a lot of damage. And then, like, a Heat Wave, an Overheat. Holy moly. Overheating the Enamorus. We protected correctly. We ate the Hydro Pump. Can we get a Rock Slide hit? Oh my gosh, 2 Rock Slide hits. Yes, please. And now we're gaming, right? Now we have shots. They could have doubled in the Arcanine. They could have clicked the Heat Wave, but they wouldn't ignore the Enamorus. The Enamorus is too pivotal for this team. It's the perfect mon to use as bait. And one thing about this team we're going to see when we go into the team fixing is that there's only 2 mons on this team that have Protect. The more mons you have that have Protect, the more times you can make plays like that one. So Urshifu is a big problem. That's Urshi Dark and then Iron Hands. Urshi Dark and Iron Hands. Now, I think that if we need to swap this Arcanine out, or we can keep him in, but, like, it's so bad versus those mons. What if we, like, swapped in the Sinistcha? I don't dislike that. Give ourselves a Hospitality boost, and then just break the potential Sash on the Urshi over there. Because remember, we have to Rock Slide, we're Choice Banded, right? And then next turn we swap it out, because, like, I feel like we could... I don't know what they're going to do in this Arcanine. I don't actually know. What are you going to do? Wicked Blow it? You might. But in reality, like, you're probably doing something a little bit different. Oh my gosh, it's a Terra. So whatever Terra they're going, unless they're going something that resists rock, they're going to take some big damage here. Is it like Poison Terra? Dark Terra. They're double dipping their dark. Okay, well, I mean, you can probably break the Arcanine here. Break the wrist, walk away, right? If we can do any damage at all to this guy, that's amazing. They go for the Fake Out into what was an Amorous, which means they're probably going after the Arcanine, but we have so much more health than we did before. Are they going after an Amorous? That's actually completely fine that they take this guy out, because it's going to break their Sash if they were Sashed. And now they're no longer, right? They're no longer a fighting type. So this Rock Slide? Oh, man, dude, we about to be cooking out here. So Rocky Helmet comes in hot. Oh, wait, does it not? Yeah, it did. All right, cool. That's great. That's so much good damage here. And now they're basically all their stuff's on cooldown. Not cooldown. Their Fake Out's on cooldown. So that being said, what do we want to do here? I think Shimpao is a good mon. I'm not a big fan of this moveset. But let's see. What would they protect if I send it to Shimpao here? We can't protect either. That's another thing that's, like, really dicey about this. I think that we can just come in with the Enamorus, and that's probably the best play that we have. And then, yeah, they have a crap ton of damage. Ugh. Yeah, we're gonna have to superpower here. I'm trying to think of exactly how I want to do this. If I save this Arcanine correctly, we just win. No, I'm actually going to Rock Slide. You can totally hit this Arcanine, I don't care. I'd like to flinch your hands. If you want to go Detect Urshi, Wickable, hey, go nuts! I'm not switching in Shenpao and making you do more damage to me. I'm not. You can hit this Arcanine, and that's fine, because you're going to lose your Urshi for it, and I'm going to get a defense boost, which means I'm not going to go down to your hands, and then I send out my Shenpao, and we double into your Iron Hands. We should be able to win. Right? Superpower is going to be a +1 attack and defense, and the next turn we just switch over to Play Rough. But this should make it so Iron Hands doesn't just one-shot me with like a Wild Charge. We have some defense investment. We have like almost full HP, right? We have full HP, heavy defense investment. Wild Charge shouldn't kill unless it crits. Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. We game in here. And now we have Shenpao to come out. And, yeah, I think we're good to go. So let's think about how we actually want to do this. If we had Protect on both these Pokemon, we could double Protect here, you get an extra Leftovers tick, which I don't think is that important. I think we're going to be fine as long as we hit a Play Rough. So I'm going to Play Rough here. I don't necessarily know if I need to Play Rough here, but I will. And we'll just Ice Spinner. Ice Spinner plus Play Rough. Even if you Drain Punch the Shenpao this turn and get a lot of health back, we're doing a lot. I probably could have just Superpowered this, but Play Rough does hit, and we do take those wins. So I won every single game with this team, despite having very limited redirection. It's just on the Sinistcha. No speed control against all teams that I would say are good on the ranked ladder. So that being said, I think this team is like very, very nice. I think the Mons that selected are nice. I don't think that you need Shenpao here. I think you can add something else, like maybe a booster energy Mon, like maybe a bundle or maybe a Flutter. They can make them respect those options just a little bit more, because like Flutter with like an Icy Wind could come up out and like enable things to be slower than our Enamorus, so Enamorus can actually succeed correctly. You could also put like Charm on the booster Flutter to be able to like side Charm. So those are the things that I'm kind of going to be taking a look at here. But that being said, we want to go take a look at the original team that was submitted, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. So let's go back here. And this is a reminder, if you guys like this sort of content, you like seeing me look at other people's teams and do my absolute best to try and fix them, you know, leave a like on the video, leave a comment, letting me know if you guys like this, and leave a sub on the channel if you enjoy the content. So, yeah, this is a pretty cool team. I don't think the Shenpao's doing that much. I think the Moltres needs a little speed control. I think the Grim needs slight tweaking, and all of the EV spreads need just a little bit of work. So that's where we're going to go take a look at the Poke Paste on Showdown right now, and we're going to start fixing some stuff. So this is the part that most people like. I think the moveset that you have here is fine. I don't know how important it is to have Iron Head, because like, what are you Iron Heading? Flutter? If you're at +2, your Flutter's, that's just going to get KO'd by a Play Rough. I'm trying to think of what else we need Iron Head for. Shenpao, you can Play Rough it. I actually think you can cut this Iron Head for a different sort of support move. So if you find yourself like needing something weird, like this guy still gets like a bunch of really cool, you could put Tailwind here, you could put Taunt here, you could put things here that would very greatly help you in some specific matchups. You really only need the Superpower on the Play Rough. I think that it's nice to have the Iron Head, but that being said, there are a lot of different moves. I know I sometimes would feel more comfortable with the Iron Head as well, but I'm trying to think like what in the meta you need to Iron Head that you can't Play Rough, and I'm not really coming up with anything. So this is where something like, you know, you could just put Taunt there, you could put Tailwind there. I don't think those are necessarily bad options, but we can just leave the Iron Head for now. I'm just letting you know like what I think. You also could put Substitute there. I think Substitute is a very, very solid option. So we're going to Play Rough, and we'll just put the Iron Head back. What I usually like to do is look at all of my moves first, make sure all the Mons that I like are there. Then from there, we break down the EVs, everything like that. This Grim set works. If you want to keep your Fake Out, that's absolutely fine. We're going to make the team with the Fake Out in there because I think you're very comfortable with it. I like your Ghost Terra. Light Clay does work, but since you only have the one screen, I don't think you need the Light Clay. I think you'd be better off actually having a Covert Cloak on this Grim, because you're going to be able to always Fake Out. So like, let's say they lead with like a Sneasler, and they're going to Fake Out you, but you wanted to Fake Out that Sneasler's teammate. You're still going to be able to do that, and you're also not going to be able to get Fake Outed if you need to do something specific with your own Mon. So on this team, I would say a Covert Cloak's a better item on Grim, because your games aren't going to be lasting long enough to get maximum value out of these screens anyways. And if you're going to keep a moveset like this, Probably won't have the Covert Cloak. Sinistcha is great. I think the Trick Room is actually very nice here. I was talking about having no speed control. I guess you do have Trick Room, but I'm pretty sure this Trick Room is there to like Trick Room other hard Trick Room teams. So we'll move on. I like your Terra. EVs need work. Arcanine, I like this moveset. I think that you were talking a little bit about how to beat Weezing, how to beat like Lilycole, how to break some of those really, really oppressive teams. And I think you just need a little bit more damage, specifically against Weezing. So you might want to actually take off like the E-Speed or take off something and actually just put like Head Smash and just one-shot that Weezing every time. It does work. So think about maybe doing that, but we'll move on a little bit. Shempao, I don't think you need this Mom. We're going to cut it. We're going to cut the Shempao. I don't think it actually adds a lot of value. And as for the Moltres, you want the Protect. Good job on that. You want the Nasty Plot. Good job on that. Now, this is just my personal opinion. Anytime you would like to use Air Slash with Moltres, think about what you're hitting. Are you hitting a Sinistcha? You can go for a Fire Wrath against that. Are you hitting a Rillaboom? You can still Fire Wrath against that. It's not very effective. And even against things where it is not very effective, like Urshifu, you're probably thinking like, Urshifu, it's Urshifu. Urshifu doesn't just die unless you're like already at +2, right? So that being said, you already have to have a Nasty Plot. You already have to have such a good boards to even use Air Slash in the first place. You would actually just be better off going for like 2 Fire Wraths or like another Nasty Plot to get an Oko at like +6, right? So that being said, this is a free move. You don't need Air Slash here. You put Tailwind here, right? Because a Tailwind will lead them to Weaving and Protects, pivoting, waiting out your Tailwind turns, which will lead to more Nasty Plots. And nothing really stops the Fiery Wrath. The Fiery Wrath's always going to be value. And now we can lead things like Grim, Moltres, go fake out Tailwind into like Nasty Plot, Light Screen, into like Parting Shot, bringing your Arcanine for an Intimidate with like the last one being Sinistcha. So if you get people that are over-respecting your Enamorous tech, you get the value of coming with the Moltres. And that being said, now what do we want this last Mon to be? We have our Sash available now. We need to check Weezing. We need to check, let me just go check the post again. We need to check Weezing, we need to check Lilycole, and we need to check Annihilate. Now I know one Pokemon that can do all 3 of those, and can be using a Sash, and that's Flutter. So Sash Flutter here. Way better than people think it is. It can do really good damage to Weezing. Shadow Ball is going to do like 80%. You're able to have that Sash clock against like Lilycoles and stuff like that. So against like Lilycole, what you usually just want to do is get your Sash clocked. You can protect with your teammate and just like Shadow Ball that Torkoal or Power Gem that Torkoal. Remember, you're going to get that boost from the Photosynthesis as well. So you're going to be able to do a ton of damage, and you always just punish the Lilycole like super, super hard because they can't one-shot you if they're having to click after you. And if they're not clicking after you, well, then you're just faster than them and you just hit them in the face, right? Against things like, let's see what other things, like against an Appy, you just Shadow Ball, you can Moonblast it. I think Flutter is going to add a lot more value to this team. So you definitely want Protect on a set like this. And yeah, Flutter is very basic, but Flutter actually solves a lot of this team's problems in my opinion. So you want the Moonblast. I'd probably just go Moonblast, Dazzling him, and Shadow Ball. I don't think you need the Icy one unless you're going to go Booster Speed Flutter. I think Sash is a more valuable item here. So that being said, and what I like to do is actually keep Ghost Terra on my Sash Floaters. The only other option is Steel to make a, or Rock or Ground or something, maybe so you don't take Sandstorm damage. But if we go take a look like a damage calculator here, let's plug in like Flutter Mane. So let's just plug in like a standard Flutter Mane, like blank set these to 50 whenever you're doing your calcs. Let's give it like 252 special attack. We're going to be like probably Timid Nature for this because I want to be as fast as possible. And let's go up against like another Flutter. Now most Flutters are Fairy Terra and they like to double dip that Moonblast, but it's so predictable, right? You see that, and you already have other mons that are Fairy Terra, so it's not like it's really needed. So that being said, if we plug in like a Shadow Ball here and we're going against like other Sweeper Flutters, now we don't get the KO against like other Sweeper Flutters that are 252, 252, like special attack and speed, right? So that being said, but if we click the Ghost Terra double dip, we always get the KO, even if they have like a good amount of bulk. Like they're still gonna get Oko by that Shadow Ball every single time. And let's talk about like a Weezing, for example. So let's plug in like a Weezing. Look how much damage the Shadow Ball does to a Weezing. It has a 50% chance to just Oko a Weezing, 43% chance to Oko a Weezing that has nothing invested. You do still sometimes see like full speed like Sweeper Weezings, but like you're always going to two-shot their Weezing with like a Shadow Ball anyways. And even if they have like, you know, I think the bulkiest Weezings are ones like that. You know, you can still maintain that two-shot range. And if you're like fake outing their teammate and Shadow Balling their Weezing, next turn you just do it again, you know, like it should work every time, right? for the most part. So that being said, Flutter's really good here. I like keeping the Shadow Ball to double dip that Ghost Terror. It's very unexpected, and I feel like that plays into what this team's trying to do. Now that we have all of our Mons here, I'm going to start going back and fixing some of these Eevees. And yeah, let's get to it. So that being said, 252 here is kind of nice, but you're wasting points here. I've talked about this before, but let's take a look at the SpDef stat right here. You see it goes to 100, right? When you're building your Eevee spreads for level 50, the first 4 points give you something, right? And then after that, it's every 8. So the first 4 will give you something, and then you add 8. It goes to 12. Note that it says 102 on the right, right? But if let's say when I had that 4, when we went to 101, let's say we just added 4 more to make it just 8. See how that 101 doesn't change? That's because the 4 are wasted. And so a lot of your Eevee spreads are wasting 4 because you're not using these sliders correctly to effectively go to exactly where you need to go. Like, you're not effectively, like 112 doesn't get you anything. 108 does and 116 does, but 112 doesn't. Same thing goes for 144. 144 doesn't give you anything. 140 does, 148 does, but 144 doesn't. So that being said, you're wasting a lot of points here. I do think that there's something really wrong with going, you know, like a ton of HP investment. But one other thing you want to do is, I'll pull out my handy dandy phone here. Whenever you're using the leftovers, you want to have the number that you're using be divisible by 16. Right, so let's see, it's probably going to be 244 here, because 81 would not be divisible by 16 most likely. So that's going to be 180. So we go 180 divided by 16, and it is divisible by 16. It goes into 16 30 times. So this is going to get you the maximum amount of health you restore, 1 more health point every single time with the leftovers. So that's a little trick, just divide whatever health pool you have by 16. Make sure it's an even division of 16, and it should work. So that being said, if we... After all we said and done here, you basically have the exact same set, but now you're way more optimal, and we found 16 more points. So we can put like 4 here, we can put 12 here, and that's some free SpDef and some free speed that you just didn't have before. So it's basically the same set that you had. It hits just as hard, it's just as bulky, it was actually is bulkier because it was restoring more health with the leftovers, and it is just a little bit faster than other people that are trying to do the exact same thing, and has a little bit more SpDef. So we take those all the way to the bank. As for the Grim, 252, 252 is fine, but I don't think that you need 252, 252 on Grim. I feel it's pretty wasteful. I understand that like you're trying to like light screen party shop, but you have an Intimidate Mon. I don't think you need to go full investment. Also, you're wasting some points here. I think that Grims should have at least about 20, I'd say about 20 points in speed. I would actually put it about 28 to make sure that your fake outs go before their fake outs. And remember, we put a Covert Cloak on ourselves, so like we don't have to care about us getting fake outed, but we sometimes don't want our teammates to get fake outed. We want to be able to see their fake out users and click fake out into them so our teammate can actually just kill them or KO their teammate, right? So that's the idea behind having a slightly faster fake out, at least in my opinion. That being said, I think this is pretty nice. You could also even think about taking out that light screen for Spirit Break. That might be a good idea to have some sort of damage other than fake out. But that being said, 140 with 252 is all you really, really need on Grim. And you know, you can just throw basically the rest of those into, you would go 84 here, and you see you have 4 extras, throw those into attack. And yeah, it's only increasing the damage on your fake out, but it's a slightly more optimal way to do it. And I think this is probably better. We might be able even to go, because we want to get to 113 here. And I think you actually... Let's see. I'm trying to find a way to better optimally use the nature. We need to get to 113. Right? And then we have just 4 there with nature. So it's 105 that way, or... 106. Now it's still more effective to use it this way. Right, because you usually want to use your nature in like places where you get the 10% boost to a higher stat. This is a 10 base higher stat, so you could get a bigger boost, but in reality, it's still actually more effective to do it just like this. So this is the most optimal way to use your Grim Sped. This is going to let you live like a lot of double ups. This is going to let you live from Urshi every single time, going for like rapid strikes and stuff like that. So that's all you really need on Grim. As for Sinistcha, again, you're wasting 4 points here. 60 is the kicker for that, and then 108 works. So what I would just do is, I understand you have Trick Room, but you're not using 0 speed to be produced, and people are using this thing. It's a very popular Pokemon. I'll just throw that last 4 in speed. I think it's a better way to do it than kind of what you're doing here. You also don't really need 60 points in special attack. I don't think you do. It might be kind of nice, maybe for like Urshi Water after they've already taken some damage or something to solidify that KO. You know, from something from like your Rocky Helmet or something, but I think this is a fine set. I've used sets like this similarly before myself. I think this is a very good Pokemon. I like the Dragon Terra on it. This Pokemon single-handedly, like, is our pivot in to stop Urshi Waters when people overcommit, so I do think it's very, very good, and just a slight fix for this one. As for the Arcanine, right, again, 8 points is being wasteful here. You could cut that up into a 4 and a 4, and this set works. I also think, yep, you have the right amount of HP. You might even have too much HP, because, like, we have big recoil moves from, like, Flare Blitz, and might be more optimal to put points significantly just right into defense or SpDef, but this speed stat is good. The speed stat lets you outspeed things at like +1 or -1. Not that we really have any +1s or -1s to take into account, so realistically you can drop your Arcanine all the way down to here if you really wanted to, because that speed stat only works from like Bleak Wind Storms or Icy Wind -1s, and we don't have any of those on this team. So that being said, I would just put like 12 here, and then what I would do here is, because we have Intimidate to counteract that defensive stat, I would put the brunt of this into probably, I'd put about 60 points here. I'm a big fan of 60 if you're trying to throw off your opponent's calcs by 5%, and the rest right there. I'd do something like that for this Arcanine. You could even take a lot of these extra points and put them straight into attack, but we don't need to do that either. But yeah, this set works. So when we're right here, we're going to be able to outspeed basically anything that we need when we have that Tailwind up. So that's the whole point behind this Arcanine set. And we're going to go check out this Moltres now. 232 is wasting points. You know, I think that you don't even, so is 152. Like, a lot of these mons are wasting points here. You also, I see that you put your SpDef is where your nature is, because it's a higher stat. That makes sense. But on Moltres, you can actually still get away with like going with like a modest nature. And then with Moltres, I think Moltres should try and be a little bit faster than Arcanine. That's just my opinion. So Moltres is going to be one faster. You don't want to have them both be the same number, because you don't want to know, like, you want to be able to correctly layer up your moves. Because like Arcanine might want to click like Terra Blast into 1, but if you know who's going first or second, it might change the move that you want to select. So having Moltres be just a little bit faster is nice, in my opinion. It also will show them, like, let's say they see Arcanine and Moltres, and they see Arcanine being slower than Moltres every single turn. They're like, okay, that's a bulky Arcanine. That might be a really fast Moltres, because it has tail when it does stuff. But in reality, we're just 1 point faster. And so they might overcommit, thinking that we're more frail than we really are. So that being said, 20 points is fine here. I usually like to just max this guy out. 252, but on the Citrus Berry Mon, you want to make this go to a even number in case you eat like a Ruination or like a Super Fang or something like that. So you'll always be able to get that Preserve proc and activate your Citrus Berry. So don't forget to do that. That being said, this would be a 116. 116 is the right number there, and then you just have a bunch of extra points. I usually throw about 20 points in special attack and rely heavily on just nasty plotting all the way up, and that's where you'd put the rest of this. 135, 159. If we want to get to 159, it might actually just be better to do kind of what you had before. 159 right there versus 123. You were at 135 before. 135. 136. Cool. We actually found a way to give you a whole extra. We got 2 extra points off your special defense, and we got 1 extra point of your special attack by utilizing nature that you had first, right? But in a little bit more optimal way, because 125 is so much higher than base 100, and this still lets us hit relatively hard with the Moltres. Especially after these nasty plots, but at the same time, we're mitigating like a ton of damage. If you want to take even more points out of special attack, you can, but I don't necessarily think we need to. I think that this is still actually pretty important for having this high of a special attack set to actually bully Goldangos after 1 nasty plot. Because remember, you're still doing AoE split reduced damage. So 1 nasty plot is going to be pivotal for that. That being said, Flutter, you can kind of click the button on the Flutter. I like to take these last 4, put them in HP just because it's such a low base number. But that being said, I think this team is a lot better now than it was before. So what we're going to do right now is go play a couple games on Showdown and just try and go over a bunch of these changes we made, try and put some of them into effect. We have a Protect here. We have a Protect here. We have a Protect here. We've added a whole new Protectum onto the team, and hopefully we can utilize those Protects and a little bit of Re-erection and a little bit of speed control to our advantage. So let's go play a game on Showdown. All right, so here we are. We're going to be playing this on closed team sheet because that's what you said you wanted to play on. We're actually playing up against Lilycole, and hopefully we can actually have a big impact here. They said they wanted to do open team sheet, but again, I feel like you submitted this team for the latter. That's why you had things like Fake Out Grim, and if we're going to be actively leaning into that playstyle, we should play the format that leans into it the best. The best way that I think we should do this is something like, you could go Arcanine Grim and go like Fake Out into Lilligant and just kill the Torkoal. That's probably an okay play. You could lead, so like Grim just kind of shuts off a lot of that. It doesn't really matter what Lilligant form they have either. Trying Trying to think of what we want to do. Flutter is also very, very nice here. Like, Flutter Grim is amazing. I think Flutter in the back is going to be pivotal. I'm going to lead Grim Arcanine, Flutter in the back, and I don't think we actually need Sinistcha here as much as, like... Actually, I will bring Sinistcha just to lock out the Dragonite for me able to, like, E-Speed roll us. Right, probably a pretty good mon here. So these guys are going to be great. So there's the Willycold, just like we said. So this is... It doesn't really matter this is the wrong Lilligant. There's actually still a lot of value to using a Unova Lilligant. It gets a lot of really cool stuff. But we're just going to fake out it. You can fake out either of these guys. But I'm going to fake out the Lilligant. Yes, it could have Covert Cloak. But I'm going to fake out the Lilligant, and I'm just going to click Rock Slide. This is going to be able to significantly weaken the Torkoal. Really, really just end the Lilligant's life. And if it was the other Lilligant, you could also just, like, double into that slot. You can, like, fake out Fire Blitz, ignore the Torkoal, because you won't die on these guys. But we're going to be fine here. And if they want to protect here, that's a good play. They're absolutely more than willing to do so. So fake out the Lilligant, absolutely fine. There's the flinch, no after you, big Rock Slide, tons of damage. Earth Power is totally good. That's the right play, in my opinion. That's a good play. Nothing that we can really do about that, but I think we're going to be able to bring out our Flutter, and just one simple Dazzling Gleam should be able to end this, I would say. Let's think about what we want to do here. I think that we can actually... I don't really want a Light Screen. I'm going to Parting Shot. I'm going to Parting Shot the Torkoal and just click the D-Gleam. Or... I'm going to Fake Tears the Torkoal and click the D-Gleam. I like that play a lot better, actually, just to make sure Torkoal goes down still. Sleep Powder, hey, sometimes you get put to sleep. Sometimes you get put to sleep. Can't do anything about that, right? Are we threatened yet? I don't think that we're necessarily threatened yet. Parting Shot here. Come in with Sinistcha. D-Gleam. Heal ourselves back up. Protect, don't care. Parting Shot, Torkoal weak. Sinistcha, come in, heal up the Flutter. Let me get that Wake Up. Survey says. Nope, not yet. Eruption. Oh, you are not strong enough to use that, my friend. All right, so we're going to be able to get a double KO here, most likely. They shouldn't be going for, like, they could, like, after you Heat Wave. That's probably their best play. So I'm just going to swap back in the Grim. Torkoal does not have enough damage to KO either of those guys now. And I can probably just go for a Dazzling Gleam double KO. And we have a Fake Out Pin. There's the pivot. Let's go. They get a special attack boost in their Flutter. Leaf Storm. Cool, they wasted that. Gonna get another heal here. We do get the Wake Up now. Lilligant's down, Flutter's chunked, we still haven't Terra. Like, it's dicey, right? It's dicey. But I still think we have good shots here. There's their Xianpao here. I think that we can actually do something like... I'm thinking about Rage Powdering. Problem with, like, Dragon Terra. I do like Dragon Terra, but, like, I feel like it's still weak to the Xianpao. Let's think about what they're going to do. They're probably going to Sucker Punch. I'm going to Rage Powder, because even if you still hit me, it'll break it. And... just get that guy off the board through doing that. I think I'm going to Shadow Ball here. I don't need to Terastallize right now. Sucker Punch will fail. We will pin their Flutter. So we played around that. All right. We can do the exact same thing next turn. Let's see if it's a Dragonite coming here. It's Torkoal. Oh, sorry, we already knew it was Torkoal. Yeah, we're in a fine spot. I think that we can actually just click Rage Powder here and Dazzling Gleam, and that will be able to always break the Xianpao, and I don't really care about the Torkoal that much. We could also even Protect and Matcha Gotcha. Don't like that one as much, though. I'm going to Rage Powder. I'm trying to think, like, if Heat Wave would kill me here. It might. Torkoal could still have a lot of different stuff. This is a hard one. I'm going to Rage Powder, and I'm going to Shadow Ball this Torkoal. And I made the right play. It's dicey, right? And they got, I think, a 3-turn sleep on our Flutter Mane, and we were still fine. So yeah, at this point, you just Rage Powder and Moonblast and we win. Doesn't matter. And they weren't even Sash Bro, because it was on the Lilligant, most likely. Cool. We take those wins all the way to the bank. And we're going to go into another one and see if we can use a little bit of Enamorous this time. That was a sloppy game, but, like, I feel like we played things correctly. They had to be hitting Sleep Powders. They had to hit high rolls. They had to make the right plays. They actually made the right play by respecting this Arcanine. We could have Terastallized if we really wanted to. But, you know, I think we were fine. Even if that was the other Lilligant, I don't think that, like, there's anything they really could have done. We had to, like, if anything, we could have been using Arcanine as, like, bait to, like, pivot out for Flutter, pivot out for Sinistcha, and, like, bait, like, high jump kicks and stuff like that. Because sometimes you still see Lilligants use, like, high jump kicks or big fighting attacks. So, yeah, sloppy game, right? But I think it was cool. And also, like, the fake tears with Grim actually plays very, very well with this Flutter. Plays very, very well with our Moltres. Like, it's kind of nice. So, I'm going to go into another game. Go into another game. All right, here we go. So, a little bit of Kommo-o and Clefairy. So, again, Flutter's very, very, very good against that. They have a lot of damage mitigation. They have big fake outs, so we can go fake out as well. I think that this sort of play is not necessarily bad here. What are you going to do? Intimidate me? Cool, I'll get a contrary boost. Or what are you going to do? Like, move stuff around? Like, I can also weave and intimidate. So I'll bring my Intimidator just to disincentivize, like, some of those guys from being bullies. And then I'm just going to bring the Sinistcha. I think that Fluttermane's great. They're going to go Steel Terror here eventually, right? And so I think Sinistcha just a little bit more value. So let's go. Grim and Enamorous versus Hands and Lando. Cool, so we get a free boost right off the bat. I think that we fake out... We can fake out their Hands because we should be faster, but we can also just fake out that guy. We can just fake out the Lando and just turn one superpower into his Hands. I don't think that's necessarily terrible. Yeah, I'm going to do it. If you want to fake out me here, we're trading fake outs. And it might even be better because, like, they might be using, like, Flying Terra Lando or some sort of weird Lando, or they might want to show a wrong move or pivot something in or out. This is going to do good damage to the Hands, and then maybe even next turn, we'll be able to go for just a win with, like, a big player up into that slot. But that being said, I'm probably going to go, like, fake out here. Let's see who they're fake outing back. They fake out me back, so we just traded fake outs. I don't necessarily think this is, like, terrible for me. So, do we even want to get up the light screen? I don't think that we do. I think I'm just going to Parting Shot in the Lando. I'm going to weave in a Protect here. I'm probably going to be bringing in one of these guys. Probably the Arcanine. Don't need to bring Sinistcha in yet. And I can repivot back in my Grim. That Intimidate's going to be very, very important to stick on both these guys. The Lando's going to go to -1. Means we're basically going to have to force the Lando out and have him re-bring it back in. And then from there, he's going to give us a second contrary boost. And we're just trying to play the long game. Well, maybe like the 3 to 4 turn long game. I'm trying to think of what they have in the back. I think they probably have Clef and Kommo in the back. But that being said, I think we're still in a good enough spot. I'm going to bring in the Arcanine here. I don't think they're clicking Stomp and Tantrum into my Grim, but like, hey, let's see it. U-turn's absolutely fine. Yo, thank you for the contrary boost. Thank you for the contrary boost. You're going to throw me in a couple more turns. There's Clefairy. Means the last month's most definitely that Kommo-o. So that being said, we pin the crap out of this board. Clefairy can Protect. I'm trying to think if I kind of want to just do this and just get the Clefairy off the board. If it protects here, that's fine. Yeah. Let's see if Clefairy protects. Follow me. Cool. It's just going to die. Absolutely done. So this is going to give us an attack boost and a defense boost thanks to Superpower. Clefairy's donezo. Your Hands can attack either of these slots. It won't get any KOs. Nice. And so now all we have to do is just repivot our Sinistcha. Come on, go for Protect. We re-bring out the... Yeah, you already see it. It's so good. Like, this is how this team's supposed to play, in my opinion. So you just pivot in here. You can go for the Protect. I'll do it. I'll take a free leftovers. I ain't doing anything spectacular. And the next turn I have, like, Redirection on top of it. Like, and we can just pivot back out that Sinistcha out for an Arcanine to get another Intimidate. Like, very, very good stuff here. And they haven't Terra'd yet. But I'm trying to think of, like, what they can even do in this situation. Like, this Enamorous is getting out of control. I probably one-shot the Iron Hands, so we're getting to the point in the game as well where we can condition the Iron Hands into, like, wasting a Terra, maybe going, like, Grass Terra or Water Terra if they have it, and having a Terrastalize a Mon that's already at -1, potentially going to -2 or -3 over the next couple turns. Probably not the best spot from them. They're really floundering right now. What are they going to do, bring in Kommo-o? They can't. I'm not giving them a board state where it's safe for them to, like, swap in the Kommo-o. They're always going to have to lose a Mon to bring that Mon in safely. So we're forcing them to play a little bit risky here. I'm just going to take a heal, drop Protect. I'm not leaving anything on the table. Those Mons aren't really setup Mons on this sort of team. Yeah, you might have, like, Swords Dance Hands, but, like, I don't care. Right, so they're rock sliding. They've conceded the ability to play, like, a normal game. I'm just going to swap back in the Hands, get another Intimidate, and I'm probably going to O-code this guy. Cool. Yeah, they're big thinking. What are they have to pivot sooner or later. And this player is just going to absolutely 4 times melt that Kommo-o. I think we KO the Hands from here too. So I think we're going to be in a good spot. So let's see what they want to do. Sinistcha, I could just leave it in as well. Like, they have no... I could just click Rage Powder and just do stuff if I wanted as well. I don't need to bring in the Arcanine. Actually, that's probably a better play. It is a better play. I'm going to do that. It's smarter. Just in case I get flinched on this guy and they wanted to, like, crit me with a Wild Charge. It's smarter to do that. It's smarter to click the Rage Powder because, like, this hands is never breaking it. This Lando's locked into Rock Slide. He can Flying Terror all he wants, right? There's the flinch. I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with this play. Look at me. We're absolutely gaming out here. Wow. Can you believe that we're such gamers? So we're just going to probably pivot in the Arcanine. Drop Protect, hit leftovers. Holy moly, we're gaming out here. And then we're just going to Intimidate / like cycle, get another full heal from the Hospitality. And we did that all the way around the flinch. Yo, we're leveling up. Rock Slide, good damage. Wild Charge is fine. Oh, yeah. Cool. All right, so in this situation, do I even have to bring in the Sinistcha here? I probably should. And it's more important to get, I think, the Lando off the board now than the hands. Let's see if hand swaps for Como. Nope, they're just trying to Rock Slide me out. Dunzo, though. And we should be able to eat this. Yep, awesome. Cool. We're good. Como's going to come out here. Oh, it's Sinistcha. Okay, hey, that's super fine. No one cares about that. Life Dew goes through Protect, so we can just click Protect, do this thing. If you want to click Shadow Ball, bring an Arcanine, get another Intimidate, kill your hands, we win the game. Really surprised to see Sinistcha there instead of the Como. I mean, Como's not good versus our team. We have Flutter, we have an Amorous, we have Grim. It makes sense they wouldn't bring it, but, like, I really thought the way they were playing it, they would have Como there. So that being said, maybe they Trick Room us. Like, again, I'm not super afraid of this, especially if we get that one Life Dew off. I think we're going to be in a good spot. That Iron Hands is like minus -1 million right now. So, like, I mean, it's not really going to do that much. Life Dew, like I said, goes through Protect. That little 4 points in speed coming in hot. Yeah, they thought we were going to swap an Arcanine. We're making them play so, like, out of their comfort zone. This is fine. I'm trying to think if I should swap in Grim. I'm going to swap an Arcanine. And I'm just going to go for a Play Rough into the hands. Should be able to get the KO here. This is going to put the hands at, like, -4. And, like, yeah, I guess they could Matcha Gotcha or Shadow Ball my Enamorous, but, like, that's fine. Even if Enamorous goes down here, I still think we have enough tools to win the game. So here we go, Wild Charge. Not going to do that much at all. Let's see if there's Shadow Ball. Strength Sap! Oh, no! Bro! Don't Strength Sap me, bro! I'm a max attack? I'm a max attack, dude! We're just vibing out here! You ain't got nothing. Oh my gosh, and the big scoops. Yeah, we're going to take those wins. I think the changes that we made to this team are very nice. We optimized the EV spread and made it work a little bit better. We optimized the Grim spread. We fixed just a little bit of the Sinistcha, wasting just a couple points. We made the Arcanine a little bit bulkier. We really made this Moltres like a whole new Pokemon. They made it a much better Pokemon to bring against like other Tailwind matchups. And we added a Flutter, which is very simple, but sometimes simple is best. And it's the simple things like Sash Flutter, Sash Shampoo, they're very, very simple, but I think this Flutter has a lot more synergy with what the team's trying to do, and it's good against the things that you said you have bad matchups against. If you're really still struggling versus Dozo, what I would be doing against Dozo, because again, the Shampoo had Haze, so if you're still struggling versus Dozo, you might want to make this into like a bit more like bulky Grim or bulky Arcanine, and maybe put Will-O-Wisp on it. That could work. You could put something like a Thunder Wave here. There are other options. You know, this Pokemon's great versus Dondozo. You'll eventually just get the burn with Matcha Gotcha, in my opinion. So I don't think that even Dozo's like another thing. Like, let's take a look at like all the things they said. Like, how often would you really see Lilycole on ladder? It's not that common. How often would you see Bulk Up Annihilate? Annihilate's not that common right now. How often would you see Weezing? Weezing's one out of every, what, 10 games? So it's like, you got to think also as well, like, there is no team that has like perfect matchups. You got to like play to optimize your matchups against what's actually popular, being like Torn, Urshi, Arcanine, Hands, Landorus, things like that. You need to really beat those Pokemon first before you think about how you're going to cover up your matchups to things that realistically aren't as common. I will say, if you guys want me to make a video on your own sort of teams, think about checking out the Patreon. It's $2 a month in the lowest tier. Every single person on the Patreon can submit a team for team fixing. I'm going to try and get to as many of these as possible, maybe 3 or 4 videos like this a week. So if you want a second set of eyes, you want my expert opinion on how I would personally play your teams, fix your teams, and also just, you can use this to have me show off your teams. You have a really cool team you think is cool. Think about checking out the Patreon, sending me your team, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and other than that, peace out. I'll be seeing you guys next time.